Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest, the man, the only one, $5 wrestling that's actually worth watching, Raider Rock. How are you doing tonight, Raider Rock?
I'm doing awesome, man.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah, really appreciate it. I just want to tell you off the bat, I think this is a great idea. Um, I think $5 wrestling is great. I think it's a great family show. I think it's fun to watch. I think you and the guys just you put on a fun show, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think. Um, so my first question to you would be, how did this all get started? How did you get involved in professional wrestling?
Well, lifelong fan. Started working with groups about 10 years ago. First thing I had done working with a group was for George South's EWA. I was actually a manager.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I went managed under the name that George gave me of Homer Odell III.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was an interesting idea.
Yeah.
But then shortly after that, I really felt that I needed to go by Raider Rock, which was my nickname back in high school.
Okay.
When one of the guys that was working that promotion as a wrestler at the time, instead of calling me by the name that I was supposed to be using, was saying it loud enough for the crowd to hear, calling me Raider Rock.
Oh, cool.
So after that point on, I really wanted to just basically be going by that because that's what that one guy was calling me, and that way there was no confusion for the fans.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's simple to follow. It's easy enough. What's George South like? Is he a nice guy?
Yeah, Joe South's a real great guy, real class act. Honestly, I would recommend anybody that's trying to get into the business to contact him. His school is one of the best I've ever seen.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen on DVDs and just watching him on some shows, he seems like a really nice guy. I mean, I could agree with you there. I mean, I don't know him personally, but just by watching him, he seems really friendly and really, like you said, knowledgeable. He's been there. He's been with the NWA, other promotions, so he's been to the big dance. He knows his stuff.
Yes, he also knows what it takes to help make somebody look real good. He can
Yeah,
make anybody look good.
definitely, and that's important when wrestling. I mean, because some people I guess it would be hard to work with them to actually have a match where like you feel comfortable and you feel like the fans are interested in it. Because sometimes I guess when you would work with a wrestler that's not so much experienced or trained, makes it a little difficult, and it's probably hard to do a match when someone's just not really able to work with you.
Yes, and I've had a couple of matches like that.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. It's kind of like, oh, geez, like, should we, I wonder if like have you ever like just kind of almost given up on a match where you just kind of like just say let's just end this or anything like that or
I've had that feeling, but
yeah.
a couple of times when I was feeling like that, the ones running the group decided to have another way to end it. It wasn't in my hands anymore.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
they've had one group last year working with a guy. It was one of the guy's first few matches. He totally did not know what he was doing.
yeah.
Uh, the guy running the group and one of the other guys in the locker room ran down and done interference in the match to end it, so it wasn't as ugly going on for a long period of time.
Well, that's a good idea. I mean, and that's what's great about wrestling. There's always some way out of those situations for the most part, unless you're probably on live TV and they can't do anything about it. But I mean, that's great. Like at least someone came up with the idea that hey, let's end this match before it gets even I guess less interesting. Um,
Yeah, and I was totally in favor of it. The only complaint I had is I wish somebody would have let me know that they were going to do that ahead of time.
yeah, because then that kind of throws you through a loop, and you're like, what's going on? And yeah.
Yeah,
And it's dangerous too when you think about it. If someone's not trained professionally or not trained well enough, and you're in there with them, and it could be dangerous for you. They could slip up and screw up something, break your neck or hurt you bad, and that's no fun either.
yeah, I know how that is. Luckily, I've not had any real bad injuries because of that.
That's good.
I have had an injury due to lack of communication, but it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, sometimes you'll get your bumps, like a bruised shoulder, like or even pulled muscle or something like that. But you can work through that. Um.
Yeah, early on in my career, I took a chair shot that I didn't know was coming and chipped an
Oh.
elbow.
Oh man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, see stuff like that. That's where it gets a little dangerous, but that'll happen. I would assume too. You know, it's a part of wrestling. But if you can avoid it, I mean, that's the best thing to do.
Well, yeah, but it's always good to try to make sure everybody's taken care of, and
Exactly.
it's better to be everybody be safe. But sometimes injuries do happen.
Very true. Um, so with George South, is he the one that kind of introduced you guys to Jake, and that's how $5 wrestling kind of started? Or do you know how like they approached you about this? Or
Well, I'm not sure exactly where the idea totally came from.
okay,
With Jake to come up with $5 wrestling.
yeah,
I did know Jake from working with George South because a lot of times at George's shows he had Jake there working. So
okay,
there was a mutual agreement that we're getting along, and all of a sudden Jake came up with the idea and says, "Hey, would you like to work with $5 wrestling? We're doing something new. Would you like to do it?" I said, "Yeah, sure. I'll take the booking."
yeah. Why not? You know, that's a great idea. Good exposure. I mean, this is genius for you guys because you know you're from North Carolina, and I'm guessing. I think Jake. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like he wrestles for Mid Atlantic Wrestling down there. There's something called Mid Atlantic Wrestling. That's what I've
There's a
seen.
bunch of different promotions around
Okay,
here, and Jake, uh, if any group is worth going to,
yeah,
Jake will be there because
okay.
Jake is a real good talent. I respect him greatly.
Yeah, I've seen some of his matches. I'm pretty impressed. He seems like he's one of those guys that can pretty much have a wrestling match with anybody.
Yeah, he can make anybody look good, and I know it doesn't take much to make him look like a real good superstar because he's talented.
Yeah, I can see
He
that.
can do just about anything out there.
That's awesome. That's the kind of wrestler you need to be, you know. You have to have, you know, that look and that persona and that vibe that sometimes wrestlers don't have anymore. I see that on a lot of television. But what's great about this $5 wrestling is you guys get pretty much international exposure when you think about it. I have a whole list of your DVDs here I'm holding. I enjoyed almost every one of them. I think they're fun, and it's so basic. It's just it's fun, like almost independent type wrestling. And you guys are having a good time, and I guess you have Colt Cabana here, and looks like Marty DeRosa. Um,
Those two are both real good. Those two there doing the commentary. I always enjoy listening to their commentary after the shows. They're never there except for the internet pay-per-views.
that's what I
They get
figured. Yeah,
edited in later on the other shows. But meeting those guys are real good. They're real funny, and they always bring a unique experience to the commentary.
yeah, definitely. They're definitely two funny guys. My question would be, I think this would be interesting. Have you guys ever wrestled those two like in a tag team match?
Uh, Marty, as far as I know, has no in-ring experience.
Okay,
He's just a comedian
okay,
that's real good friends with Colt.
okay.
Colt's been all over the world,
Yeah,
so and I've liked him for a long time and respected him. I never thought I would get to meet him or be a part of a promotion where he was at, but it was very fun to do that.
yeah. I mean, he seems like a fun guy. I watched him wrestle in 2001 against CM Punk, and it was like a 30-man Iron, or excuse me, a 30-minute Iron Man match at my local community college. Probably, I'm guessing this is when those two first got started, and it was very, very entertaining. He was a good wrestler. I just thought that'd be interesting if one of you guys, if they did like a storyline where one of you guys got sick of them talking about you over the mic, you guys like, one of you guys like hit Marty DeRosa and like knock his like headphones off, and then Colt Cabana kind of stands up for him, and then you got a tag team match right there, and that's your next $5 wrestling show. I think that'd be fun to see. Um,
Yeah, I have heard rumor that the American Idiot $5 star has been talking a lot of trash about Marty DeRosa and challenging Marty, but so far there has been no acceptance from Marty.
oh, okay. I'd like to see that.
I definitely would love to see that one too.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Now, here's a question too. We were talking online. How did the do you know how the American Idiot got started? His tag team partner was originally the Cobra.
Yeah, those two real good, known each other a long time. The American Idiot gimmick was actually the first time that was used was at a fair show
Okay.
for a group called New Blood Championship Wrestling in Faith, North Carolina.
Okay.
The one that was using that gimmick was asked, "What are you going by with the mask?" They were one that wanted to use a mask,
Mm-hmm.
and it was asked, "What are you going by?" The one, that was doing that. The first one to use that gimmick was actually me.
Okay.
I know I'm not supposed to let anybody know, but I'm going ahead and do that one anyway. That was my idea.
Okay.
But I had the Green Day American Idiot song in my head all day long.
Oh, okay.
And when it came out and asked that, that's what I came out with.
It makes sense. That's what I was kind of assuming too, that you probably like that song or you were listening to it at one point. Um, I think it's a good gimmick. I watched the $5 Rumble, which you were definitely heavily promoted on.
Yes.
Um, and I watched the American Idiot against the Cobra. And then the Cobra beat the American Idiot. Did they ever have a rematch or anything?
No, they haven't.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's been a good while since Cobra's been in the ring.
Yeah, because I haven't
I've
seen
been
him.
trying to push for him to be able to come back to $5 Wrestling and have another match with him, but that hasn't been the case.
Okay. I think that'd be interesting to see the Cobra back because he actually was in the Rumble too. The Wolfman threw him out rather quickly, but that was his other match that I saw. Then I haven't seen him in anything since. Like you said, it's been a
One
while.
match I would definitely want to see, though, is Raider Rock going one-on-one with Cobra.
That'd be good. How,
Me and Cobra were both on the middle school wrestling team together.
oh, nice,
So we've got a long history with wrestling, and we did have one match against each other, which I did win on points.
nice.
And I've been wanting a rematch, but we haven't had that work out yet.
Well, there could. I mean, there's a lot of potential for this $5 wrestling because there's so many different ways you could do it. You could do a $5 war game show. You could do a $5, um, like that tag team match with Marty and Cole Cabana. I
There's so many
also,
things that could be done.
yeah, I wanted to actually see a $5 versus the world, $5 wrestling versus the world. I think that'd be fun too. Um,
I've seen some of the $5 guys take on other guys from other promotions in the past. With the Trainwreck Internet pay-per-view, you had Freight Train going against Eugene, which
uh-huh.
was a great match.
Yeah, I saw
Uh,
that
I
one.
I wasn't there for the one that followed that with the Straight Out Compton, where Big Donnie went toe to toe with Cliff Compton. Now, I would like to see an entire show that was matches like that, where guys from other promotions come and face the $5 guys.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I think that'd be a great pay-per-view. $5 wrestling open challenge or something where you guys just take on whoever. I mean, there's so much that can be built up with this. I'm surprised there's not like a $5 weekly YouTube show as well. Um,
I, I've been suggesting stuff like that to Jake and High Spots to do stuff like that, to do more $5 shows. I'm not sure what's the holdup with trying to make this even bigger than what it is now, but I think the fans really would love to see more than like two, three, four $5 wrestling shows a year come out on DVD. They would want to see a lot more.
yeah, and it's one of those things where I don't know if it's like one of those situations where it's like a financial um, thing where Jake and whoever else is involved has other obligations because it seems like High Spots is definitely a busy company. But I think they could do something where they have like a little studio or even like some of these places. I'm sure they're not. It looks like the Rumble in the Gym and some other places. I'm sure they could get a place where they could film a whole 2 months of TV in like 2 days, and then you could have a YouTube show every week. I think it'd be great to see.
I think that would be a great idea. I do think that a lot of ideas have been out there, but I'd just like to see some of them go a little bit farther.
I definitely would too. Like where I'm from, Pittsburgh, we have a few independent promotions, but it seems like, I mean, for the whole state of Pennsylvania, there's an enormous amount of independent promotions. But it seems like North Carolina, where you guys are at, is definitely the heart of professional wrestling. That's where the NWA and all that thrives. So to me, that's the heart of wrestling right there. So I mean, I think they should definitely do more with $5 wrestling. I actually discovered it. My one friend showed me the DVD, and I really liked it. I thought it was just fun because it's not like this crazy like those hardcore FMW shows or like these ridiculous indie shows where everyone's doing acrobats for a half hour. It's actually just fun wrestling, and it's just simple stuff, and that's the best seller. And you can see like when you look at the audience too for the internet pay-per-views because they're more live. I'm assuming they're really excited about the show.
Yeah, they
Um,
are. And most of the guys that when you talk to them, right one on one, and then see them in the ring with their character and everything,
yeah,
most of these guys with $5 wrestling, their characters are basically them.
Well, that's great.
You get to see the true insides of these guys.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. The guys can really be themselves, enjoy themselves, and also put on good matches for the crowd to entertain them.
Yeah, I mean the crowd loves it. I saw the one pay-per-view. I think it was the Straight Outta Compton one, or it might have been the one where Eugene fights the Freight Train. The one guy's dressed up like Randy Savage in the audience, and it was funny because the other wrestler was dressed up like Randy Savage from the '80s. He was dressed up like Randy Savage from the '90s, so that was fun. Um,
Yeah, that was totally a really cool experience. That one there was, in fact, the one with was not straight out Compton, but that one there was the train wreck, which
okay.
had Eugene.
I I love these shows. I would buy more. I mean, I'd buy them every week if I could, to be honest with you, because they're really fun, and like the interviews are fun to watch, and Jake just likes to goof around, and you can see like George South enjoys doing this. I have one question. Now, I know it's kind of out of left field, but did this El Cucamonga guy ever actually wrestle? I that
I've heard he has.
okay,
I've heard he's supposed to be really talented.
yeah,
I have not seen him more than him just do that run in.
that's what I thought because I saw him on the
He was
yeah
supposed to be at one other show that
yeah
I was at up there in Indiana,
okay
but for whatever the reason, at the last minute, he wasn't able to make it.
okay yeah it might be
That
this
was the card subject to change
yeah
DVD.
yeah I have it right here
We were actually in me, Jake, and some of the other guys were in the van heading up there, and we're in Louisville, Kentucky, in that area when we got the word.
oh man.
So we were almost all the way up there to find out that Cucamonga wasn't going to be there.
Well, I mean, in a way, that really stinks he didn't show up. But in another way, it's kind of funny because that's an old saying in wrestling: card is subject to change at all times. So it worked out in the end. I think.
Yeah, and it's always good. $5, I like with that. You're always seeing new faces, bringing new guys in, giving them a chance, and that's what I really love. Is pretty much anybody that has the heart to do it and has wanting to get real good break to get exposure,
Yeah,
$5 will help them out.
yeah, you can see it. I mean, it's surprising they don't. Do they have like a Facebook page or anything for $5 wrestling?
I'm not real sure. I know a couple of the guys tried wanting to do small things, but I haven't really seen one.
Yeah, I should join the High Spots marketing department. We'd have you guys all over America in a few days.
Well, I like that idea. There is one area that I would really love $5 to go to and do
Uh
a
huh.
show. The Rahway Newark area of New Jersey.
Okay.
For me, that would be very special if I was able to be able to work up there. I was actually born in Rahway, New Jersey.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So for me, if I was able to ever get it to work out to where I could work a show right up there where I was born, that would be something special.
Well, that'd be even a good show to promote you. They could just, um, they could title something that's related to like you being born there, and have a pay per view off of that. That'd be great. I mean, because there's a lot of overexposure of Freight Train. I can tell you that. That's like their Hulk Hogan, I guess, in this whole company. Um,
Hulk Hogan, John Cena, whatever you want to call it, uh, that is what $5 has with Freight Train. That's the way they make them be, and I can't help but say this: it couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
yeah, he seems
Freight
very
Train is a
nice.
real great guy. He deserves the exposure. Yes, I do think some of the other guys should get built up like that too, but I am not going to say that what they're doing is wrong. I think it's a great idea.
Well, yeah, you need like every company, I guess, to a point needs their uh, main person, the flagship person to go behind. And after a while, I think after a few years, maybe they'll transition to someone else. But right now, hey, it's hot. It's what's popular. That's fine too. Um, I don't know. I haven't actually seen the latest DVD. Do you know which one that would be? Would it be the Christmas with Freight Train or something like that?
No, the newest one that they done was Bon Voyage, was done back in July.
Okay.
That one there was done a little like a month and a half, 2 months before Freight Train went over to England for a show.
Okay. I heard about that. They were doing like a fundraiser to get him over there.
Yeah, and that one there, I will say that the Bon Voyage was a real good show. Uh, Although now I really feel like I was down on the farm in my match.
Yeah.
Now I know wrestling what it's like to wrestle with a greased pig.
Oh wow.
Uh, I've never seen a guy with as much baby oil on him before a match like Mr. Sleeve.
Wow.
He's a great talent, don't get me wrong, but he needs to tone down the baby oil being put on him as much as he puts on before a match.
Yeah, a little too much.
Yeah, I can't. It was like I was slipping just trying to put a simple move on him.
Yeah, and that could be dangerous too because if you're trying to suplex him, you lose, his grip, and he falls the wrong way or something. That could be really bad.
Yeah, but it was a good match. We got to see a little bit more crazy version of Raider Rock in that match for the ones that did get to see it.
Nice. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Is that on DVD yet? I'm guessing it
Yes,
would
it
be.
is.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great to see. Because I got a whole bunch of these. And I also saw you on the Rumble. We were talking about that earlier. You actually wrestled for A Train. How was that?
That was actually a real good match. I liked it. Uh, I wanted to make sure Freight Train looked good in that one.
Yeah.
I wasn't even expecting to wrestle Freight Train that day.
Oh, okay.
Uh, I was expecting them to pick one of the other guys to get that opportunity for that match. Plus, that was a double taping that day.
That's what I
Because
figured.
that was the same day that they done
I think it was this
at
many.
Rumble in the Rec Center. They done this many
Yeah, I have that
DVD.
too.
Those were at the same time, same day. So when I got to that point of that one, I was after wrestling already. I was feeling a little bit wore out and didn't think I could go very long in that one.
Yeah, because you were pretty much almost in every match for that whole. I mean, for that whole day. I mean, we did almost like 5, 6 matches here. It looked like.
Yeah, I did a few matches there, and I was just trying to make sure that everybody got exposure and was looking good, trying to make them look good, make the entire show good. But by the end of the day, I felt like I was wore out.
Oh yeah, I mean, because if you do 5 or 6 matches, you had the Rumble. You were in that several times. What was that like? The Rumble, was that okay? Was it just like, we're all kind of tired at this point?
Well, I thought it was real good. Had a
Yeah.
lot of emotion in it, and guys really wanted to look good and show off what they could do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually looking forward to doing another match like that this weekend
Oh, nice.
uh, out in Durham with another group that's called Gouge.
Gouge, okay.
They're doing their annual Redneck Rumble, and I'm supposed to be a part of it on Sunday.
Nice. Do you want to explain where it's at and what time so we can?
It's this Sunday, February the 8th in Durham, North Carolina at Motorco.
Okay.
I've never worked with Gouge. I've never been to this facility for a show. So this is all going to be new for me, but I'm looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I like Rumbles. I think $5 wrestling should do like something a little crazy. Either like a WrestleMania type pay-per-view or something with a big battle royal. I think that'd be fun to see. Um, who knows? I mean, the sky's the limit for this product. I think it just might be one of those situations where there's just not enough manpower to actually film these shows, um, and probably do enough of what we think they should do, I guess you could say. Like a weekly taping or, a lot more DVDs. It just might be like one of those things where there's just not enough guys to do it, to produce it. Because I'm guessing Jake's probably in charge of most of it, so he can only go so far too.
Yeah,
Um,
and with Jake doing a lot of different shows and a lot of different groups, doing stuff with High Spots, he's on the road a lot.
yeah, so he's
So,
busy.
yeah, and I give him all the credit in the world. To have as much on his plate as he does, I am glad that he is still able to have the time several times a year to put out the product beside all wrestling.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I enjoyed it, and it's nothing like crazy. Like I said, it's good old fashioned wrestling. It's a good time to watch. Um, I enjoy the Burke County boys too. They've gotten some crazy matches. Um,
Oh, yes, they have.
yeah, little Donnie, my goodness, Donnie got. I mean, I watched the $5 death match dance party, and little Donnie's just getting the heck beat out of him. I was like, holy heck.
Yeah, Donnie can take a licking and keep on ticking like those Timex watches from way back.
Absolutely. I mean, I've never seen anyone that he reminds me like, it's really hard to explain, but it's like one of those situations where he's like one of those guys. He's just like, keep bringing it, I'll keep doing it. Big heart, and he's ready to wrestle. So it's fun to watch him.
Yes,
Um,
it is. It's also an enjoyment to just have the whole experience with all these different guys. It's, in the locker room, it's a great experience. Out there for the shows, it's a great experience.
Oh yeah. I have a question too. Whatever happened? Did the Cruel Connection ever do a show again, or was that just like a one-shot deal?
That, as far as I know, that was a one-shot deal. But
Yeah.
as they always say in the business, never say never with somebody showing up again.
Yeah, definitely. They can always come back. I saw you wrestle Storm Maverick as well. Did you enjoy that match?
Yes, Storm Maverick. When I did that match against him in his debut match,
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah.
I, when you get somebody making their debut, you never know exactly what you're going to get with a guy when he's
Yeah.
first debuting, and that was a great match.
Awesome.
Uh, the king shots afterwards were basically a pay your dues type deal.
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause
But me and Storm Maverick really get along.
oh, that's good.
I'm looking forward to seeing him on Sunday up there in Durham for that show.
Oh, that's good. That's gonna be a big show then. Is there anyone like any wrestling legends on that show as well, like a George South or anyone?
Uh, they've got a bunch of guys coming in. Some of them I have no idea who they are.
Okay.
They've got Otto Schwanz that's done several different groups over the year, bunch of different groups over the years.
Okay.
Uh, he's supposed to be real good. I haven't actually got to see any of his stuff, but I've heard a lot of good stuff about him.
Okay.
There's a lot of local talent. They're even bringing somebody from Shikara.
Oh wow.
So to me, that's a big deal. Whenever you work a small group and a group that's bigger than that has somebody from it come and represent.
Yeah, that's big then. Definitely. Yeah. I think that'll be fun to see. I'm always like a big fan of Rumbles, so that'll be a good
Yeah.
time. Also, let me take a look here because I was looking at some of the other shows. Let's take a look. The Tournament of Champions here. I saw this one as well. Um, Apparently you wrestled. Let's see, Showtime Dynamite. How was that? Did you enjoy wrestling him?
Oh, Dynamite, that was a great match.
Yeah.
One that I've been wanting to wrestle again for a long time and just hoping one day to be able to have another match with him. That 10-minute match that went to the time limit there just left me and the fans wanting more.
Yeah. Getting
When you
excited
can
about it.
and that match was awesome. We both hit each other with some of our best stuff, and it just didn't get the job done.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I remember watching that one. I'm trying to see what else. It looks like you also were wrestling the Masked Assassin as well, the Channel 10 TV champion during that show as well. Um,
Yeah, the American Idiot did that one.
okay.
And the long-time entrance music for the American Idiot was, there's only been two songs that have really been the American Idiot's entrance music. One of which was a small band from here in North Carolina called Eyes of the Elders, American Man.
Oh, okay.
Only other song that's been used by the American Idiot for entrance music was Weird Al Yankovic's Dare to Be Stupid,
Oh, nice.
which being American Idiot is a huge Weird Al fan.
Oh, there you go. We all like a little bit of Weird Al, you know.
Yeah.
I was thinking, with $5 wrestling as well. Did they ever do like it? Because from my own personal observation, when I'm watching these shows, I noticed one thing. It looks like Dynamite wants to wrestle Freight Train, and they want to have that main event match. Has that ever happened on $5 wrestling?
Yes, it did.
Okay. Was it an
Uh,
iPay-per-view or anything, or was it just straight to DVD?
it was on the Raw one.
Oh, okay.
The one with, that one that they called Raw, which was supposedly a jokingly shot at Monday Night Wars.
Oh,
That
okay.
one there was a good one. That one ended up a match where it was a draw
Oh,
between
okay.
the two of them. Those two have also had went at each other in other promotions over the years, and I'm not sure if either one has really gotten a big edge on the other one.
Yeah, because you can see the rival there. Like you can tell that they definitely. I think that'd be a good iPay-per-view to build that up again.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And the funny thing is, you do not have that many face versus face feuds, but
No.
this one would be one that would work good.
I think this would be good for the WrestleMania type show. You build that up like a Hulk Hogan versus Ultimate Warrior type of match, or like a, Sting versus a babyface Lex Luger type of situation, and you have like that big pay-per-view. I
I
think,
totally agree that would be a great match.
yeah.
Another great match that I think would be Raider Rock going against Big Donnie.
Oh yeah. I watched him against Cliff Compton straight out of Compton. That was wild.
Yeah,
So
I know I would be the severe underdog in that match, giving up size and weight, but I always say it's not the size of the dog in that fight. It's the size of the fight in that dog.
absolutely. Well,
It's
I
one of
think
those things you just gotta love.
and plus, I mean,
Smaller guy goes out there against the big guy.
absolutely, and they could build that for weeks and make that something big. Um, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, that could be like a great pay-per-view. You could do like a 4-hour show, and I think that'd be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree with that. Although there's a big controversy with Raider Rock over the last couple of years.
Okay.
I've seen the way the guys running the groups are wanting Raider Rock to be more hardcore, a more cheating type of guy, a
Okay.
true rule breaker. But yet, when he tries to do that, it's just like with Stone Cold back in the day.
Hmm.
The fans are still cheering.
Yeah, they want to use a good guy.
The fans still want me as a good guy, but everywhere I go, I keep being told that Raider Rock as a bad guy would be better.
Yeah.
So it's kind of hard to do that. But either way, I'm happy.
Yeah, you're still on the show. You're still part of the show. But yeah, like you said, it's really hard to do if the fans want you to go a certain way. Um, and I could see that too when I remember what you watch wrestling. Looks like you wrestled Jeff Hart before too. Um,
That one there,
he was.
I think it's a series of 4 million matches we're destined to have over between the past and the future because every so often it seems to work its way back into the mix of me versus him.
Yeah, sometimes it just happens. Sometimes two wrestlers really have a great match with each other, and it's bound to happen again. Um,
Yeah, and trivia for all the Raider Rock fans out there with a small indie group called Wildfire Championship Wrestling.
okay.
My debut match was against Jeff Hart.
Oh,
That match didn't go exactly as anybody really wanted, but it was still a good match for the maybe 2.5 minutes that it was
yeah.
before that group's answer to the NWO stuck their nose in there.
Uh-oh.
The XWO came down, putting the boots to both of us, but that was the debut match.
Nice.
A
I
couple
think
months later with that group, I actually got my rematch with Jeff, and it was actually a good match.
nice. Now, here's a question too. Do you have like when you go out in North Carolina, when you're out on the street or anything, does anybody recognize you at all?
Yeah, I do have some people that recognize me.
Okay.
I've even had people contact me on Facebook.
Okay.
I've got a friend of mine on Facebook that I actually met a little more than a year ago at a show, all the way down in Australia.
Oh wow.
That met me at the show, and it was like he really liked me, and I was like, I really like that. I didn't realize I had fans all over.
Yeah,
I've
I
had
mean,
people comment that they were in Japan or over in Europe that saw some of the IPTVs or even just the DVDs for $5 and contacted me and saying they like my performance. So
nice.
that really makes me happy when people just let me know that they like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think you guys are the diamond in the rough here for wrestling. I think this is something special. I think there should be more of it. I mean, it's too bad they couldn't get the time to do like a tour, you guys, where you guys do a few months on tour and you come to different like local, towns and stuff. You go to maybe Florida or you go, somewhere in, like you said, Kentucky, maybe Ohio, Pittsburgh, New York, maybe go to Chicago. It's probably one of those situations where it's like the time and the money is probably like, against against you right now. But I think you guys can really build an audience. You have international fans.
Yes,
Um,
that's true.
I think this could really build up. Um, I definitely think there needs to be a WrestleMania show. I really think that would be a great idea.
I
Um,
think that would be a great idea too. I honestly, to me, each and every one of these matches with $5 wrestling to me has been like a WrestleMania for me.
yeah, it's fun.
It's fun. You got the fans. I don't care if I've got two people in the crowd or like a couple hundred or more. I'm happy with the crowd, and I'm just doing whatever I can to make the crowd happy.
Well, that's the quote of a real true professional wrestler right there. If you can wrestle in front of two people or 100 or 1,000 or 100,000, you know, it makes you happy and you feel complete with it. So that's great. Doing what you love to do. Nothing wrong with that.
That's true, and that's the way most of the guys that I met are. That's how they. That's how much they care for this business. That's how much they care for the fans. They're trying to do whatever they can to make the fans happy.
And you can see that. And you can see in the shows too. I remember the $5 death match at the end. They had that dance party and all the kids came in. Everybody's having a nice time. It's just a nice promotion, you know. It's definitely
Yeah,
fun.
that was one that I didn't know about and wasn't a part of, but
Okay.
would have loved to go be a part of something like that. Uh, and if you notice with shows that I'm on, when Dynamite starts inviting, has like the other guys come in from the back to come down and dance with him.
Yeah.
It seems that crazy Raider Rock is always one of the first ones to jump in to be a part of that, even though he can't dance.
He's right on top of it, man. Well, that's
Yeah,
great.
because I just like having a good time, and most of the guys know that.
Yeah, and it's all for fun, and you guys got great exposure. And I think there should definitely be more of it. Do they give you a chance to have any merchandise, like your own T-shirts to sell at the shows, or your own wristbands or anything like that?
No, I don't
No.
have anything like that except promo pictures that I
Oh,
bring.
that's cool.
Uh, I had uh, I had a deal to have some of those done a couple years ago, and I still have a few of them left. So,
That's good.
and I sell them at the shows. Honestly, and I'm one of the easiest guys to get along with. If once any of the fans have like the DVDs with them from the shows, or they have just like an autograph book or something, I'll sign an autograph for just about anybody real quick.
That's real nice.
Yeah, that's just the way I am. I'm always wanting to please the fans. I actually got a very rare and strange opportunity last year
Okay.
with that I actually liked. Comic book shop a couple towns away from where I live with Free Comic Book Day had me do a personal appearance signing autographs.
Oh, that's great.
I'm like, normally I would expect like the other comic book shops at the other end of town has people dressed as the superheroes, like Spider-Man or Ghostbusters guys.
Yeah.
This one asked me, hey, Red Rock, would you do an appearance in your gear and signing autographs for the fans? I said, yeah, sure, I'll do it.
Nice.
They asked me to come back again this year, so I'm looking forward to that in May.
That's great. When you find out more information about it, let us know. We'll promote it for you.
Will do. And this has been a great experience talking on your show, man.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we're glad to have you here. I mean, because you guys have done so much, and I feel like there needs to be more exposure for you guys because I know they have high spots, and I know Jake does a show with George South. Um, they do that on their Facebook page, or excuse me, I think their YouTube page too. I think that's where it mainly comes from. But there needs to be more exposure with this. I feel like there's a whole market here for you guys to really get known and to be really widespread. I think they're doing good so far, but I think like the manpower and the time and the money and stuff is kind of against you right now. But you guys got a lot of DVDs. They're worth buying. It's a lot of fun to watch it's just a great product. But definitely, like I said, I want to see like a big Starcade WrestleMania Super Clash kind of show. I think it'd be great to watch, and maybe like an international one where you guys take on international wrestlers from around the world. I think that'd be fun too.
I think those are all great ideas. I would even like to see a Survivor Series type match.
That'd be good too. $5 Survivor. You guys could do that too.
Yeah, I had pitched the idea a while back to do a match like that with the Survivor Series type deal. But some of the guys that were supposed to show up for that didn't
Mm-hmm.
show up, so
Uh,
that idea wasn't able to go through.
that's what's tough because I'm sure like people's schedules and things like it all sounds good on paper, um, but then when you actually try to do it and if people don't show up, it screws everything up, and then you guys are kind of like left high and dry.
Well, and that goes right along with them saying card subject to change.
Yeah.
Uh, there are some groups I really like the idea that they do that I've worked. They do not put a card together until the day of the show and see who actually shows up, and then try to piece one together,
Yeah.
rather than promote a bunch of matches and like 3 or 4 guys for some of those matches don't show up,
Yeah.
and then you got to change plans, and it's just rough when that happens.
Yeah, because everything that they built the show around is gone for the most part. So then they got to figure out what to do next. Yeah, that is tough. Do you guys? A question I have too is: do you guys kind of have like a core group of wrestlers that always kind of come to the shows, or does it just like you said, like it kind of changes? People kind of come here and then they come back after a
Well,
while.
the real core for $5 wrestling,
Okay.
you've got the Burt County boys,
Yeah.
you've got Freight Train, you got Dynamite, you got Jeff Hart, you got me.
Yeah.
Most of us have been there since near the beginning.
Yeah. From what I've seen, yes. Yeah. All pretty much on almost all the DVDs.
I've been there, with the exception of a few DVDs where I wasn't able to be at the shows. I've
Yeah.
been there from the beginning.
Well, that's
I
great
was
too.
there with Volume 1.
Nice.
Some of the other guys, they start working other groups, start being working with bigger, as they say, bigger and better groups,
Okay.
and say, I don't need $5 anymore.
Yeah.
I'm better than that. Well, as far as I'm concerned, no matter how big you get, you should never forget your roots and where you've
Absolutely.
been. Because
Absolutely.
those same people that you see going up, you're going to see going down. And if you don't treat them right, they're going to treat you the wrong way when you're on your way down.
Yeah. You're not gonna have a fun welcome bandwagon waiting for you once you get back down. Um,
Yeah, and to me, I'll pretty much any group, if I'm available to work a show, any group that wants me and I'm able to make a deal with them, I'd be more than willing to go to.
yeah. Well, that's great. You get the exposure. You know, you learn. You get the experiences. Um, I had a question too. Like the Wolfman and the Sheik, are they still there, or are they kind of gone?
I haven't seen either one of them at a show for a good while.
Okay, that's what I was guessing
Last
too.
show with the Wolf Band was over a year ago, that Christmas extravaganza.
Okay.
And the Sheik isn't, he's still doing a bunch of different shows,
Uh huh.
work with a different gimmick, and but he's still doing real good with a bunch of different groups.
Well, that's good.
I do like it when other guys use $5 to get themselves established and then able to jump up to other groups.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to get that. But like you said too, don't forget where you came from. To me, it would make more sense to stick with $5 since you guys get this DVD distribution. So I mean, that's a good idea to stick around. Be a part of that. Because I mean, if you already have fans from Australia and Japan, I'm here in Pittsburgh. That's three people right there that you know wouldn't know about you guys unless there was like some kind of internet place to purchase these DVDs and or watch them on YouTube. So yeah, I
Yeah,
definitely
and
stick
then
with it.
another thing that I would like a lot more,
Yeah,
with the once a year that they've been doing for the last few years, with them doing the events, the WrestleMania weekends,
yeah,
where they had like Marty and Colt watching the other matches from a long time ago and just having a good old time doing the commentary and bringing some of the guys, other guys that have been around for a while from
yeah.
other indie groups and other stuff to help them do the commentary. The last couple of years, they've been having Freight Train go with them when they do that.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it would be good to take like a Dynamite or some of the other guys with them when they go out of town to these events, something like that, and have them help do the commentary.
Yeah, get,
I'd actually like to see some of these with that and some of these other events like that. I'd like to see some of these other guys get bigger exposure.
exactly. Well, and this is how you could actually build the whole WrestleMania right here. Here's what you do: you have them with Freight Train, at this show, and you get three of you guys that are mad that you weren't on the show, and someone beats the heck out of Marty, and someone starts going after Colt, and someone like lays out Freight Train. You have Dynamite lay out Freight Train and raise his belt, and then you just walk out. There you go. There's WrestleMania for next year. There's your
That sounds like a pretty good plan.
yeah. I mean, you guys come out of the crowd unannounced. No one says anything. Like the fans aren't gonna know because they're gonna be focused on Marty and Colt and Freight Train being there smiling. But then you have Dynamite whack him. He falls down like a ton of bricks, and then you have Marty get choked out by you or something, and then Colt Cabana gets smashed on the head with something by one of like the Burke County boys, or whatever. And there you go, right there. There's a tag match with Marty and Colt, and then Showtime Dynamite and Freight Train right there. And you build that up for a year on your DVDs, and then you get the big show. I think that'd be fun to watch.
Yeah, I think that would be good. I think there's a lot of good ideas.
Yeah,
I'd also like to see some other things. I'd like to see is Straight Out Compton 2.
absolutely. I think that'd be great.
Because Big Donnie and Cliff really tore it up.
They did.
Uh,
That was a great match.
I would love to see a All Gimmicks Needed 2.
That'd be good.
Because that pay-per-view, All Gimmicks Needed, had a lot of great different matches. Some I never thought I would see. And the idea just worked.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, fault success. If it works, go with it. And, like you said, I think you guys definitely need some more exposure. I think it'd be good to get more of you guys out and maybe do some documentaries on you guys as well. Like, I think they did one with Freight Train. They could do one with you, Showtime Dynamite, maybe the Burke County boys. There's so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things. Honestly, I just like the whole idea from the beginning and just seeing how it goes. Now, there's some guys, I'm not going to mention any names.
Yeah, you don't have to. Don't worry
When they
about that.
see the fun at some of the guys, like Marty and Colt doing the making fun of some of the guys and having a good old time with things,
Yeah.
some of the guys that I have ran into that work $5 have come out and says, I'm not going to come back. I don't like the fact that they're having a good time and making fun and all that.
Yeah.
It's an insult. But there are a lot of us that are stuck around and we can say, hey, yeah, we can take a laugh at ourselves. We know how to have a good time. This is what wrestling should be, is that we're able to have a good time and yet put on a great show.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. But I can see both sides because someone's really trying to have a hard match and they're just, almost making money off of them at their own expense. I could see how they could be pissed off about it. But like you said, though, it's all about fun, and that's all I think anybody's really looking to get out of it is fun wrestling and a good time and just an entertaining show. But I could see how people could get a little angry by it because they might be under the false pretense of, well, this is this could be my big match or whatever, when it's really maybe not meant to be like their WrestleMania type of show. It's just meant to be a DVD pay-per-view type of thing and just have a good time. But I guess some people, they take it a little serious and they get angry or, I'm not sure how they book it or whatever. Maybe like they were under false pretenses that they were told something differently than it was, and then they found out they were just making fun of them. Well, maybe they feel like that hurt their gimmick or their potential for growing as a wrestler, maybe. But yeah, it's all in good fun.
Yeah, and I've even had a couple of groups want to book me just because of the fact that I was with $5 Wrestling and it's helping get the better exposure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things I can never understand. Like television stars, the guy that that played Al Bundy and stuff. I think he got tired doing the show. I'm like, why? Just do what makes you famous. People always try to get away from what they were involved with years ago. I'm like, no, like stick with it. If it makes you have a good living and you have a good time with it, just ride it out as long as you can, man. You know?
Yeah, and to me, it's just you work hard for it and stay focused.
Yeah,
Yeah, not everything's going to be a cakewalk. You
absolutely.
got to expect a hard time here and there. You got to expect roadblocks because that's what's going to help make you better.
Absolutely. I mean, that's it's coming from a true professional in you. I mean, there you go. I mean, that's like what Tommy Dreamer or Little Guido said in like one of the ECW documentaries. They were just eating tuna every week and starving just to make a living. That's what it's about. Paying your dues a little bit. Nothing can be
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah,
But
I've gotten to meet some guys because of $5 Wrestling that I never thought I would get to meet.
well, that's interesting too. Who did you meet? Besides George South
Well,
and
I've
Jake?
known George South for a long time,
Yeah.
but I never thought I would be on the same show as somebody along the lines of like a Eugene.
Oh wow.
Have somebody like Colt Cabana being at shows. I never thought that guys like Cole Compton would be there, part of shows that I was at.
Yeah.
But one of my personal favorites
Okay.
was Madman Pondo, the day I got to meet him.
Yeah, he looks like a fun guy.
Yeah, he made me really smile the first time I got to meet him. I was coming out of that double taping that we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
where this many and the Rumble,
Yeah.
coming out of there as he was pulling in before the show. He made it like anybody would be if you were meeting, like, seeing Ric Flair or Hulk Hogan. He pulled in. I didn't even know he was supposed to be there at the show. He's like, Rock, Raider Rock, hey, it's Raider Rock.
Nice.
And I'm like, what? And at first I didn't even recognize him. And then when he introduced himself and I saw him, I says, man, it's great to meet you, Pondo.
Nice.
He just made somebody that didn't realize that a whole lot of people knew about him
Yeah.
feel real good. That's the kind of guy Pondo is.
Yeah, he seems like a funny, nice guy. Like he's not gonna be a jerk or anything.
No, and you don't always expect that from the guys as wild and crazy and hardcore type of gimmick like he has been over the years.
Yeah, he's definitely been in
He's been
some.
all over.
Yeah.
Anything you can expect to see, he's seen it, basically.
Yeah, he's been in some crazy
He
stuff.
comes to a small little group like $5 and makes a big deal over some of the guys that were there. I'm like, cool.
I mean, that's great too. And here's even like another pay-per-view concept. You guys could have Cole Cabana, Cliff Compton, Madman Pondo, maybe George South. The old versus the new kind of thing. The old regime against the new regime type. You could
I like that idea too.
Survivor Series match right there. There's so much where this could go.
Yeah. Also, I mentioned earlier about that one show I'm doing this coming weekend, but at the end of the month, the 27th of February down in Albemarle, North Carolina,
Okay.
Freight Train is basically got the reins like he did for the Christmas Spectacular.
Okay.
He's doing another show down there in Albemarle, like that one was, running it, that'll end up being a taping for $5.
Nice. Yeah, I wish
Yeah,
they.
and just like the controversy with his first one,
Yeah.
advertising price to get in for that one is not $5.
Uh-oh.
$8. I don't understand the logic behind that, but oh well. I'm not the one running it.
That's very true. Well, economics and times have changed. It's been a couple of years since you guys been in business. You might have to upgrade to $8 wrestling. That's okay.
Well, hey, they've been doing shows a couple times a year at least, so.
That's good.
But I don't mind it being with that. But hey, I do like the idea. The first time working with Freight Train actually being the one in charge with that Christmas Spectacular one.
Yeah.
That one was a great show. It had a lot of great feel to it.
It sounded like a stacked card. I have to watch that. That was probably the newest one I haven't seen. I haven't seen a couple of the newer ones. I have to get up to date with that. But from what I looked at and saw what it was presented to me in some of the clips, it looked like a fun show.
Yeah, that one was. There's just one thing that didn't go real good according to plans with that one.
Okay.
Yeah, the Dark Outsiders, King Jeremy Snaker, and John the Psycho versus Raider Rock and Jeff Hart.
Okay.
That match ended in controversy.
Uh-oh.
The manager that I had for that show, Tater, stuck his nose where it didn't belong in that match in more ways than one.
Uh-oh. I gotta watch this.
He not only interfered in the match and went after Snaker with my kendo stick,
Okay.
he was even attacking Jeff Hart.
Jeez. I like
The plans we had did not have that match ending in a disqualification. Ended up, he just changed his own script.
Okay.
That was not appreciated by anybody.
Yeah, that's not a good time.
Yeah, that was pretty much led to the ending of that one being a part of $5. So.
Oh wow.
that and a couple other things, but I'm not going to bring that other stuff up.
That's okay. Yeah, you don't need to. Don't worry about that.
Another fun fact: anybody that watched the All Gimmicks Needed pay-per-view uh, or seen the DVD from it, in the Raider Rock Red Solo Cup match,
Oh, okay.
the one that came up and was talking with Marty and Cole, uh, saying, "I'm Grandma." That's actually my grandmother, and she was actually pulling for the other guy.
Oh, wow. Oh, jeez.
Uh, which that really was a lot of fun. Her just, I didn't know she was going to be a part of getting pulled in for that, but that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it, definitely.
Yeah, and I ended up having to change the ending of that match.
Okay.
I was supposed to do one move that set up the finish, and my knee was not working at 100% that night, and ended up I wasn't able to do it, so I just changed that ending to that strange ending.
That's okay.
And with that, I switched it to make it a little bit of a feel of just, as I said it afterwards, that's a little gift from me to that group that he was with.
Mm.
Because he was representing $5, but he was also representing LXW or something like that
Okay.
from Alabama. And I was just trying to help him come off with a look good. So,
Okay.
and I blew how things were supposed to end, so I just had to make up for it.
That's all right. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes, you know?
Yeah, and it was just all around good thing. A lot of people will question about interviews that I've done mentioning the Rock Corps.
Okay.
The Rock Corps, the original group of guys that was called the Rock Corps, was me and some of my buddies back when we were in middle school at different sports that we done, all trying to be the best at what we done.
Uh-huh.
And we made a pact and called ourselves the Rock Corps as just as a way of showing respect and also just trying to be the best we could be.
That's pretty awesome.
And Cobra, which was in that one DVD, was one of the originals.
Oh, okay.
So as I try to help others out, you could see that I tried to help him out, give
Uh-huh.
him a little bit of exposure.
Well, that's great. I mean, yeah, you're helping your friends. That's what, wrestling's all about too. You could I mean, that's a great thing to do. I definitely like to see the Cobra return to wrestle either Raider Rock or the American Idiot. Um,
I'd love to see him take on anybody
yeah.
again. Me and him haven't talked for a while, and hoping that me and him will get back in touch soon, hopefully. But things happen.
Yeah, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Time goes by, and you gotta stick with what you want to do in professional wrestling. And there's a lot of things I know you still probably want to accomplish goal wise. Um, a question.
There's a lot of fans that are saying they want to see Raider Rock have one distinction with $5 wrestling that I could care less either way if it would happen or not.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fans that say they want to see Raider Rock with the $5 title.
Now,
Now,
I think it'd be
I
good.
would love that, but if it happens, it happens. If it don't, it don't. I'm not angry either way.
Yeah, and that's a good view to have. Um, I think you should have maybe your own DVD called "We Will Rock You." That'd be good.
Speaking of We Will Rock You, uh, they had the We Will Raider Rock You little theme for the Raw DVD, and had Maria
Oh, okay.
in WWE over the thing doing We Will Rock You,
That's
and
awesome.
changed it to We Will Raider Rock You. I like Queen. I like the song, but with her doing it like that, butchered it, and I did not like it.
Yeah, so then it didn't look too well and sound too good. I have to see that. I'll have to watch that DVD. That's one I didn't.
Honestly, that soured me with her when you butcher a song I
Yeah,
like that, I lose respect for you.
yeah,
I know she meant all good intentions and was trying to make things look good and trying to do something cool,
Yeah.
I respect that, but it just didn't work, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely a miss on that. I'll have to watch it. I'm sure she was no Whitney Houston or anything like that.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Actually, I hate Brooke Hogan's music, but I'd much rather listen to Brooke Hogan than her.
Yeah, that must be, yeah. I mean, that's pretty bad then. Um,
Yeah.
well, that's definitely not good. Has she come back to $5 wrestling at all?
No, and she wasn't even there for that show.
Oh, wow, just like kind of like a
That
music.
was edited in just like Marty and Colt for most of the DVDs.
Okay, yeah. It's pretty cool though how they have this all set up too. I think it's a brilliant idea, that's for sure. Um, would you like to promote your shows you're at again real quick too?
Yeah. On the 8th of February this year in Durham, North Carolina, 4 p.m. bell time with Gouge, the Redneck Rumble.
Okay.
That's at Motorco there in Durham. Then on the 27th of February, I'm in Albemarle, North Carolina, 7:30 bell time at the E. Waddell Center in
Great.
Albemarle.
Great. That'll be fun to see. I wish we could see you guys up here. Um, I have to maybe Facebook Jake or something. Say, hey man, when's this going on tour? When are we gonna see this in Pittsburgh? When are we gonna see it like in
I'm all
Ohio?
for that.
Yeah.
Uh,
E
and one of my favorite wrestlers is from your area up there in Pittsburgh.
Nice.
Uh, even with amateur wrestling, I looked up to Kurt Angle
Yeah.
back in my amateur career. Another great from Pittsburgh that I looked up to, Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah, Bruno. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's here. I think they had a Bruno Sammartino Day here a few months back. I know they wanted to put a statue of him somewhere in the city. I don't know if they've done that yet or it's in the works, but yeah, he's a big name. I'm surprised they don't do more with him here. He was at one of the local supermarkets doing an autograph signing, but I didn't even know about it. Unfortunately, they need to promote him a little bit more. I'm kind of like I really like him as a professional wrestler. I'm kind of bummed that he went to the WWE Hall of Fame, not because he didn't deserve it, but because of what he said for the past 25 years or so about the World Wrestling Federation, World Wrestling Entertainment. So I felt like he kind of pulled like a Bret Hart, where he like trashed and bashed them for so long, but then took the paycheck. That always kind of bothered me.
Well, that can be the case, or it could be the fact that after harboring the hate and anger for so long,
Yeah,
uh, it starts to eat away at you. And sometimes you just need to bury the hatchet with the other side when you've got a disagreement for that long.
very true.
And that happened probably because of burying the hatchet, trying to make things right, even though he knew that he wasn't a very big fan of how some things went. So
Yeah.
honestly, that's the way I like it. But I prefer guys when they say they're not going to go do something, then they change their mind and go do it.
Yeah, it kind of leaves like a bad taste in your mouth almost, It's like,
Yeah, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
yeah, that's true too. I'm sure he had his reasons, which is fine. Um, yeah, I did. That's just kind of, I felt kind of funny about that one. But he's definitely a legend though. Pittsburgh's, we have a great tradition of professional wrestling. We used to have the studio wrestling, here locally that kind of thrived back in the '60s until the WWE, kind of took over that. But yeah, Pittsburgh has a great wrestling history. Um, My question to you would be also, what was your favorite wrestling promotion, or maybe your top like three?
Honestly, I like watching all wrestling from all promotions.
Okay.
Yeah, they all have bad things here and there. They have some have guys I don't like, but I show respect for all the promotions, even when I do not agree with what they're doing,
Very true.
because I don't want to say something and burn a bridge that might actually before it actually is there.
Yeah, very true. Because
Because I never know when something might come my way where I might have an opportunity to work with a group, but because something I said, they don't want to have anything to do with me.
yeah, that's understandable. Have you
I try
ever,
to show respect for everybody.
yeah, have you ever gone to the wrestling conventions or anything like that in North Carolina? I know they're big for the Mid Atlantic Wrestle Fest or something like that.
Well, they've had the Greg Price running the conventions that he's had in Charlotte over the last so many years. I've been to a few of those. Uh, there's another group that's been doing with the one car dealer up in Winston-Salem, Frank Myers Automax, working and doing once a year what they call WrestleCade,
I've heard about this.
which they bring in like between guys from years past and guys that have possibly just been released from like WWE and that.
Yeah.
They'll bring them in plus local talent that are good to not only do like a convention for the day, but they also have in that same day they also have a big card with wrestling
Okay.
that normally happens like the last weekend in November.
Nice. Yeah, we don't have too much of that up here. We have a few. We don't have any conventions. We have like comic book things and sports conventions, but nothing for professional wrestling. But you guys, you're pretty much in the heart of professional wrestling, like Magnum TA and all those guys from the NWA. I'm sure they're big down there.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
There's conversations I have with guys that haven't followed wrestling in years, mentioning all those great ones.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame he did not wrestle at Starrcade '86. I think that would have changed the whole face of wrestling as we know it. It's just a shame. Um,
Well, things happen. Guys get and all the history. If some things would change just a little bit, things would be different.
Absolutely.
And some guys would be bigger than they were, and other guys would not be so big. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm glad that the wrestling business is there and it's as good as it is.
Very true.
Uh, it it's the groups that have made it big that help elevate the indie groups.
Yeah.
Now, most of the indie groups are like wrestling like it was back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
but they have all the great opportunities now because of what was there before.
Very true. I feel like professional wrestling's missing that other company that provides the wrestling like it was back in the day. I feel like that big number two is still not there yet. It's definitely WWE is number one. I feel like TNA hasn't stepped up to be the number two at all. I don't think anybody else really is coming close, but there needs to be that other promotion that focuses on, you can do some high flying and stuff too, but like that other type of wrestling that people want to see focuses on the athleticism and real professional wrestling. I think that company needs to rise. Whoever it's going to be, I hope
I
they
think
come
Ring of
soon.
Honor might be one to really look at.
Yeah, I see them growing. Definitely, you can tell within the past couple of years. But even from the get go, they started the same time as TNA, and you can see the parallel of how TNA kind of didn't do the best job in the world, but how Ring of Honor kept the course and kept it steady. And they've had some bumps in the road, but you can tell they know who they are. They present a product that has its own identity, has a following, and it's only up from here. I think for them.
Yeah, and I think like a couple of years ago when they had that where Sinclair family bought in,
Yeah,
because they've got all those national TV things that's helping elevate them, and they're not having to have cable or satellite to be able to watch ROH.
no,
So to me, that's a step. That's one thing I like and respect with that, because I'm not one of these ones that has cable or satellite,
yeah,
and I'm able to watch Ring of Honor.
which is great. I mean, it's great
Yeah,
exposure.
and they've got some real good talent. One of the guys that I really like with Ring of Honor is Cedric Alexander.
Okay.
I worked a few shows with Cedric before he started to really escalate. Back
Yeah.
when he was first getting started, and I could tell right from the beginning, even watching his first few matches at shows that I was at, I knew he was going to be able to make that jump pretty quick.
Yeah. And that's great too, Some guys they either have it or they need time to develop their skills and to get there. But if you're good, you'll make it.
And
Um,
I liked it right up until he signed with ROH.
mhm.
Cedric was willing to help out $5.
Which is nice. That's great.
Yeah, he was basically what we had was one of our first referees that we had with the company.
Well, that's great.
And he's him, Caleb Conley, doing stuff to help out, coming back with this. They got other stuff they could be doing, but they
Yeah.
like to take the time to help out.
Well, like you said,
I
they're not
respect
forgetting where they came from.
Yeah.
That's great. Um, Here's an interesting question, and we had discussions on the podcast about this. It's a little confusing, but what do you think about Global Force Wrestling? Will this live up to any expectation, you think, or is it just going to be like, it was a nice try?
Uh, I'd actually like to see something from it. I've heard all the hype.
Yeah.
I haven't really seen anything going forward. I've heard about it going to be starting. I heard about promotion trying to get everything going, but I haven't read anywhere where anything's really started.
Well, I know they had the New Japan Tokyo Dome show in January, but that's really not Global Force. It's just what they're presenting. I think the whole idea of this is to be like a wrestling promotion that has almost like a new NWA. Really, it's just several different wrestling companies working together under one banner. But then I think what they eventually want to do is have their own roster from some of these promotions, and then get a TV deal and have pay per views and things where it's like their own roster. But I don't know. I think it's going to take a long time to actually get that going. It seems like, and I think Jeff Jarrett's in one of those situations where, like he even said, he has no patience. But it's going to backfire on him if he promotes this constantly with no actual promotion that's physically in the United States ready to roll on television. I think that's going to backfire
I
because
totally agree.
yeah, it kind of drives me a little crazy because it's like, well, you don't promote all this if you're not going to do it yet. You got to wait. He was actually here in Pittsburgh. He scouted out talent. He had like a wrestling seminar back in April, but I don't know if anything really ever came of that. I don't know if anybody got a job. There really hasn't been any. There's been a bunch of companies that are under this banner, and there's been one pay per view that's technically just a New Japan pay per view. So, like I said, it's almost like a pseudo wrestling company where it kind of doesn't exist yet. So, it's almost a year here, and we don't actually have the physical company, and that could be almost, people don't have patience anymore for wrestling. They want to see the company, they want to see it start, and they want their number two. And if these guys aren't going to do it, then I don't think they should keep promoting it so heavily as they have, unless there's an actual physical roster and an actual television deal ready to go. So, yeah, it's one of those things where like we've seen the results of TNA, where I mean, people love it, they hate it, whatever, but I don't think Jeff Jarrett should promote what he can't deliver and promise. That's just a bad move, I think. But we'll see.
I totally agree with you on that. Honestly, I don't think unless you're really ready to launch, no matter if it's wrestling, music, or whatever,
Yeah,
if you're not ready to launch and really show off what you got, if you really don't have anything to show off, you don't need to promote it as big until you actually do have something to show.
exactly. This reminds me of watching TNA when they used to do the pay per views every week. They were promoting something that they weren't delivering. Like they were promoting great wrestling, but they didn't have like it almost seemed like they just had a hodgepodge roster and nothing was really concrete and it was kind of all over the place for a while. And it seemed like they were always promising things they weren't delivering. And I see the pattern again on a bigger scale, but it almost seems to be like, well, where's this company at? It's almost a year here. April he announced it last year. Right now, I honestly thought we'd have a television show and we'd have a roster and we'd have something, but we don't have anything yet. So I don't know. I mean, if he's my concept of what this is going to be is he's going to have 6 to 8 pay per views showcasing these companies that he's working with, and then the roster is going to come with a television deal. But I just think the fans are already pretty gone already before this thing even started because they don't have patience for it anymore. So it's tough. It's tough to be a wrestling promoter in this day and age because you have to promise what you're going to deliver. And it just seems like with Jeff Jarrett, he really has good intentions. He wants to promise a great product, but it never comes in the delivery that people want to see. It's always kind of like, well, a hodgepodge, and it kind of comes together, and it's sort of crashing and burning, but we're going to fix it. I just see the same pattern with TNA, how it was before. So it's like watching history repeat itself, but it's a little bit more, I guess you could say, cleaned up and organized because there's actually companies he could at least buy some time with until this thing gets started. But I don't know. I'd like to see the roster start to come together here, or it's not going to look pretty from at least what I've seen on Facebook and YouTube sites and other web whatever they got out on the internet these days. There just doesn't seem to be a lot of positivity around it. I mean, the New Japan show was praised because it's New Japan, though. They don't need Global Force. Global Force needs them to give them credibility. So I don't know. I don't know where we go from here. Hopefully, we'll get a pay per view from South Africa. They've been talking about that might air this month. I don't know. And then they're talking about showing that Triple Mania from one of the Lucha Libre companies, one of the Mexican promotions, which is fine and all. But once again, it's like the fans want that roster. The American fans are very impatient. They've been dragged around in the gutter for so long. I think they deserve an actual big wrestling company again. Not to
I
say
totally agree.
thank you. I mean, I think people want a WC. I don't care what a lot of these guys online say. People want another WCW. They want or another ECW. They want another alternative. And I think Ring of Honor and I think TNA try, but I think this Global Force looks like it's going to be another WCW slash NWA, but I don't think there's. We're missing the pieces here. We need the actual roster to get going here. But
I totally agree. I would like to see these other groups also step up.
yeah,
Uh, they've got the talent. They just, I don't know what's the X factor that's missing here to really propel them to make that extra jump.
um,
I don't know what it is exactly because whatever it is, it's missing, and they need to find it.
very true. I think a lot of times it seems to be money, um, loss of talent because the talent seems to kind of come and go in some of these promotions. I think the writing for some of these shows, be it as it may, whatever promotion you watch, I don't think it's as strong as it could be. And there's just not that wrestling mind that has the company and says, like a Vince McMahon or like a Paul Heyman, um, a guy that knows professional wrestling, or the Crockett's, whoever you want to say, a promoter that knows wrestling in and out. They own their own company. They have the money. They have the time, and they're ready to rock and roll. That's just not there because Dixie Carter. I don't think really has a grasp on professional wrestling. I'm not. Whoever's running Ring of Honor is doing a good job, but I don't know if the money's not there or the time or the availability of getting more cable networks or whatever as it may. They're taking baby steps, but I think the fans want to see a great wrestling product that can stand up to WWE and provide them a great alternative. But the wrestling mind is missing out of most of these companies. You can see that there's just not that central person that books everything right and does a good job. It's not there yet. So I don't know. Like you guys got Jake and probably some other people behind the scenes, so you got that. They know what they're doing, but for that big number two, I mean, if Jeff Jarrett is a wrestling mind and knows the business, then he's got a lot of big shoes to fill, and he has to back up what he's going to present, or people are going to bail. Which I think he lost probably numerous amount of fans already, just saying, that's just an overnight fling thing. That nothing's coming of it. So, it's tough. It's tough to be a fan now because there's no giant alternative to World Wrestling Entertainment. It's just them. They own everything, and there's no one else that really can rival them right now. But I just hope Jeff Jarrett isn't promoting more than he can promise. If that's the case, he's in big trouble. Um, and if he doesn't actually, in the end, have a roster and it's just a bunch of shows on pay per view every year, I think that'll wear out. It'll wear thin eventually. But I think eventually what you're going to see is I can see this already with the WWE NXT. Looks like that's going to be a challenge to the independent organizations where this is going to be the WWE's version of the indies, and they're going to take a lot of indie talent and then tour with that. And I also have a prediction that maybe WWE will start taking over the entire world, where they're going to have a WWE Canada, a WWE Japan, and there's going to be its own territory system in these other countries, which will really piss off New Japan and Mexico if that happens. But I wouldn't put it past them to start that. I'm sure the seeds are planted for that to actually take place and happen, but we're probably a decade or two out from that. But I think that's the end all be all. They want to be the only wrestling there is, and that's what they want to do. But we'll see.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I would like to see somebody step up. Then again, I also like all the indie groups.
Yeah, there's
A lot of the indie groups are really taking it and stepping it up a notch.
absolutely there's a lot of the independent promotions, and then I guess you could say some of the more well-known indie promotions like $5 Wrestling, like I guess this Evolve, the Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, Chikara, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, a couple other indies that they're definitely stepping up. Um, but I think I asked this question on our pro wrestling podcast. I think during a podcast in a group where will the NWA actually rise out of the ashes and become the superpower that it was? Some fans say yes, some fans say no. I think they could if the money's there. I think they kind of blew it with TNA where they parted ways. I thought that was a bad move on both ends, but I think they could be the mega power that they used to be if they would just regroup, reorganize, and get a lot of big cash flow is what they're going to need. But it seems like Global Force wants to be the new version of the NWA. That's the vibe I get from it. But
And the NWA, there's NWAs all over different territories.
yeah, it's still
Uh,
around.
that if they would actually combine their resources and work together, I think that would be something amazing.
Absolutely. I like to see it. I think the problem is I think the fans it's just so hard because they don't have a lot of it. What I've seen, it's been online, which is great and great exposure, but they need like that main television deal. But I don't think they're even close to being there yet. It's going to take a long time, but we'll have to see. I mean, only time will tell. Anything can happen. WWE could implode in 5 years. We don't know. I mean, things can happen. The whole company could go out of business. Stranger things have happened. And Ring of Honor could step up and be the big one. Who knows? I mean, New Japan could come over here, take over, and be the new head superpower of wrestling. Who knows? Anything and everything will happen, as Gorilla Monsoon used to say. So that's the truth on that. Do you have a favorite wrestler? Anybody that you looked up to or like studied their professional wrestling repertoire or style?
Well, anybody that's followed Ray Rock, seen my in ring, you'll know that you'll see a lot of different guys. You'll see different things.
Uh huh.
Sometimes I'll even combine a couple different moves in there from guys that I liked
Nice.
into one move. Uh, there was a lot of great ones that I looked up to. I looked up to the Samoans. I looked up to like Jimmy Snuka, Sting. There's a lot from different promotions I looked at, and not all the ones that I looked up to were the guys that were big in WWE or back in the day WWF or NWA.
Uh huh.
But some of them were ones that were jobbers for the groups, like George South, uh, Chuck Coates.
Uh huh.
These are some of the ones that I really liked growing up.
Yeah,
Tommy Angel. These were ones that
yeah.
were paid to lose in the big group when they did work with big groups to help make the other talent look good.
Yeah, I mean, so right off the bat, who's the better wrestler right there? You can tell the guys that make the other guys look good. So hey,
Yeah.
I
I've always known that you've got to have the development talent to help the other guys look good.
absolutely. Have you ever met the Italian Stallion? I know him and George South wrestled a lot.
I have a couple of times I've met him. I've known George South for 20 plus years.
Wow, that's great.
There's a lot of good. There were guys that came up from the Indies that were here in the Carolinas, done indie work, and then went up to the bigs that I've looked up to and respected, like RVD,
Yeah,
Tatanka, guys like that. I respect them and looked up to them.
yeah,
I knew that they had something when they were in the Indies, and some of these people you can just look at
yeah,
just once and say, "Wow, this guy's got talent, and he has potential to be something big."
absolutely. I'm
Just
sur-
like with any other sport, the Indies are like the minor leagues, and like the WWE, the TNA, the ROHs. Those are more like the big leagues for the indie groups.
yeah,
And just like baseball or anything, look at these ones that are in the indies. You never know. One day they could make it to the bigs.
yeah. You never know. Anything can happen in wrestling. It just takes one look, one moment, a spot that needs to be filled, and someone gets their big break. I think it's great.
That's true. And there's so many that have done that over the years. And I just like it whenever, especially if I see somebody that I have done work with at shows and see them move up.
Yeah,
I'm proud for them. I let them know as soon as I can. Hey, congratulations. I appreciate working with you, and I'm glad to see you're doing good.
and that's great. That's the way to be in wrestling. I'm surprised. I'm surprised more fans don't watch Southern wrestling. I really enjoy like the Southern style wrestling. Like I enjoy Dick Murdoch, Butch Reed, Junkyard Dog, all those guys. I think they definitely like Magnum TA, Wahoo McDaniel's. These guys paved the way for wrestling. I think it's Southern wrestling is definitely something to watch. In North Carolina, where you guys are at, big history of wrestling, and it's great. Um, I really wish though. Did you ever have like a dream match like that you'd like to see two wrestlers wrestle that probably haven't wrestled before?
There's so many of them out there that I would love
Yeah.
to see. Uh, but one that I would really like to see, and I know Jake Manning could probably make this one happen.
Okay.
Madman Pondo versus Raider Rock.
There we go. I'm
Uh,
telling you. Uh,
I even have talked to Pondo in the past saying that he's on the list of one of the guys I want to face before I end up calling it a career.
there you go.
Calling quits. There's like about 6 months ago, I made a list of 10 different guys that I would want to face before I called it a career, if it could happen.
Yeah.
And he's the first one that right off the bat said, if there's a way to make it happen, he would love to do it.
Well, that'd be great. I mean, I think there's a lot of opportunity for you guys to have a great show with some of these, legends in wrestling, where they should step it up and make this stuff happen. Where Jake, if they do that thing at WrestleCade or whatever, they have that interview segment where they're making fun of the shows, and you guys start attacking everybody. I think that'd be great. Great setup for the Mania. It'd
Yeah,
be,
that would make a great plan. I really like the idea that the only thing is just having the ones that have power catch
yeah.
these ideas and say, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's go for it.
Yeah, I'll call. I'll petition. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll talk to CM Punk. No, I'm sorry, not CM Punk. Cole Cabana, Marty DeRosa. I'll message Jake every day. I don't care. I would like to see this happen because they're sitting on gold with this. I mean, you could actually Big Donnie could go attack Cliff Compton like in Compton somewhere. He could be eating at like a Burger King, and Donnie just comes out and starts beating the crap out of him. I mean, there's so many places you could go with this stuff. It's great. I mean, you guys could write, 4 years worth of wrestling and just keep going with it. It's endless. I mean, Madman Pondo could wrestle you in some kind of like steel cage death match type of thing. I mean, it could be crazy. You know, the whole thing could be you want to retire him. You want to put him out of his misery. You could do something like that. You know,
Yeah, there's so many opportunities if they were there, I would go for, and I would love to see matches. I would love to see. Uh, there is one thing that I see that just does not work with some indie groups that have been trying to do it the
okay,
last few years, and I've seen it, is not turning a guy from heel to babyface, but trying to put two guys that are heels facing each other.
okay,
Because from a fan standpoint, that really can't work.
yeah,
Because in a true match, you should have one guy the fans can get behind, and one that the fans really despise or can't stand.
absolutely,
It should be at the battle of good and evil, good and bad, and if you stuff two bad guys in there, it just don't work.
absolutely,
Now, it can work if you stuff two guys that are baby faces in there just trying a good competition. That can work, but for some reason, it just don't work with the two bad guys, the two heels. It just don't work.
yeah. They're out of their element there. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna work right. Yeah, I can see that. I think I think the only match that might have worked, unless I misunderstood it, it looked like honestly Big Don and Cliff Compton. It looked like they were both bad guys. I mean, I guess Cliff Compton would have been more of the baby faced kind of favorite in the match, just because I guess the fans know more about him than Big Donnie. But it seemed like they were both heels almost. But
And for some people, it just depends on what they are.
yeah,
Uh, I've seen shows where Big Donnie, Pork Chop Cash Jr., and Hardcore Terry Houston, normally the fans are booing them and hating them,
yeah,
and just go to certain towns where those guys are cheered like crazy.
yeah. I could see that.
And I'm like, what? Where did this come from?
Yeah, I could see that.
I like it from the standpoint of knowing that these fans have got favorites and they're going to pull for them no matter what.
That's awesome.
And honestly, I will say this: when I went up to Charlestown, Indiana, and a couple of times with $5 wrestling, the crowds up there, I had no idea that they even knew who I was, let alone pull for me like they did up there.
Oh yeah,
Uh, to me, it was like, did that just really happen?
yeah. This is
For the
going
crowd
on.
being like that, because they had like over 100 people there, between 100 and 200 people there at the show, and I'm used to most of the shows I've done, not a big crowd.
Yeah.
And these ones all in it, all getting loud, and most of them pulling for me during my match, and I'm like, what?
Wow. Yeah, I mean that's why there's. I mean, with you guys, there's just to me, it's endless opportunity for marketing and for
Yeah,
DVDs. I mean, they could even do like a $5 wrestling the movie. I mean, there's so much you guys could do, um, and you'll definitely have the fan support with the internet now. I mean, you guys, I'm sure get so much exposure. I think it's great. I think there's just the sky's the limit for this. I just hopefully they get to do more shows for you guys because you guys all deserve it.
yeah. I found one thing on the internet that totally shocked me a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Uh, somebody on YouTube having some wrestling video game.
Oh okay.
They had like they had like Cena and a couple other guys that were in there in the game,
Uh huh.
so it must have been some WWE game. But
Yeah.
they threw footage of the match there, and they were saying that one character in there was Raider Rock.
Nice.
Put the footage up on YouTube with that, and I'm like, what?
That's
Somebody's
awesome.
done that with me, and I know it wasn't me.
Yeah.
So
See?
to me, to find out there's some fan of mine out there that would do something like that totally shocks me.
That's a big compliment.
Yeah, it is. I've done so much stuff in my career that I never thought I would.
Yeah. Well, that's great.
Coming in, I was just thinking I was just going to do small indie groups. I never thought there would be DVDs that had me. I never thought I'd do an internet pay-per-view. And thanks to $5, those things have happened.
And that's great. Yeah, I really think like with you guys in your career, I think the sky's the limit. I think you could keep going for as long as your body says it's okay, for another, 10 years if you want. I mean, if you can get booked, that's great.
Yeah, that's honestly pretty much the only thing I really expect from a group is at least to cover the expenses of me getting there. If not, if they can at least cover that, I'm pretty much willing to go out to work for almost anybody.
That's great. Would you like to, if there's any independent wrestling promotions or federations out there, how would they be able to get in contact with you? Would you like to share the information, or is there anywhere they could go to find this information?
Well, anybody wants to get a hold of me, we're trying to work. The easiest way to get a hold of me is through my Facebook page,
Okay.
uh, which has my real name, Jason Wagner, and it's got a picture of Raider Rock as my profile pic.
Okay.
Anybody who wants to get a hold of me with that, that's the easiest way to get a hold of me.
Great.
Or if you know one of the other guys I've worked with, like $5 or another promotion I've been in, and
Uh-huh.
they know me, have them tell me to get in touch with you.
Okay.
Either way, I'd be willing to talk with almost anybody.
Well, that's great. Well, I tell you what, this has been a great show. I hope you've enjoyed yourself.
I have, and
Great.
we can't end the show without having one thing happen.
All right.
It's time to come in next competition, y'all.
Awesome.
Can't end it without my catchphrase in there somewhere.
Hey, you have to have it. Definitely.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's been a pleasure, Chris.
Hey, well, thank you very much. We'd love to have you back soon. Hopefully sooner rather than later. We'll definitely keep in touch. I'd like to thank you very much for doing the show. And it's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure on my behalf too, Chris. And y'all have a great night.
You too.